bad, girl. Beautiful truck. Wish it was manual.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Inverter Garage, and today we're going to install an inverter.
So we just had lunch and whatnot, and we're going to install this inverter as per previous video I did. We have the power, and we have some USB. I don't know what the style or what the amperage on the USB is. Probably minimal, 0.1 amp or something, or sort of 1 amp. But whatever. This is our next install.
So I'm going to move the tools outside of the truck, and then that way we have some room to be able to get to the seat, take it off, and actually get to the batteries and start plumbing everything in place. So I also left the lights on. That's why the truck is on right now, because I'm charging the batteries up. But we're kind of done, and you hear it kind of kicking up. That's going through its DEF cycle. It does that while we're driving. It's not really that big a deal. Da 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 da. Oh, that's such a good noise.
Now the truck's off, we can talk. This is going to sit right about here. Oh, or a tire squeal in the background. That's my lunch. We'll get that out of the way. And that's good enough. Oh, someone's revving up. Those are some of the hardware things we're going to be using. Next step before I get to talking about this is to get the seat off. And where I want to mount this thing is right here. So you have good access to the power and the USB port. I think that's probably like a 0.5 of an amp. Maybe it's a full amp, who knows. You get your 120, volts, 8 amps. A lot of stuff I run is 15 amps, but we'll see if it works. If not, just gets things charged up. That's the only thing I have that's 120 volts. I do not know the amperage on it. I'll probably just look on the side. So this is a 7-inch grinder, even though it's got basically a 5-inch blade. And right here, you will see, if it focuses, there we go, 15 amps. So this will overload the inverter. But typically, I have battery power tools, and you just have to plug it in. We do have some 18-volt battery power tools. Apparently it doesn't want to focus today. Anyways, next step is to take off the seat. So to unbolt the seat, we have only just one. Yeah, just one on this side, and there'll be another one on that side. Okay, take this off of the wrench, over here with the socket today. So one bolt on this side, one bolt on the other side, and it literally just lifts up, and you get access to your batteries. There you go. So we'll just attach there and there, obviously positive side. That is the negative side. Looks nice and neat. Don't touch anything. See how big those cables are? And then when you're installing anything to your battery, you want to be 6 inches away for the fuse. And after that, it's just down the line, so you don't actually fry the entire electrical line. It's just the first 6 inches until the fuse blows and then saves the circuit. Here's an example of a good inline fuse install. Right here. You'll see that's just after the battery. So therefore, if anything happens with the circuit, the fuse will pop, and then the rest of the line going all the way down is safe. We'll be adding that later, not today, so I will leave the inverter non-active after we test it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to drill one hole, put the bolt through to hold this into place, then we'll use that same thing to drill the next hole, and we'll pilot it all the way around, and that way we have everything plumb square and straight, exactly the way we want it to be. Also, you should put heat shrink on this. So now that we're all mounted up, the next part of this is to take these cables, which I loosened off here. I'm gonna have it go in directly into the battery box. And then with that, they'll be using these little standoffs, strain release, that'll keep the wire from chafing and short circuiting on the battery box itself. And I'll be grounding it out to the battery box, and then this goes obviously to the negative battery terminal on that side, and this goes to the positive battery terminal. Always fuse your connections about 6 inches from the actual termination to avoid any fire hazard. So when you have your strain relief installed, you just put it in this way, just as such, and then you take the plastic nut and put it on the back side of it and tighten it all up. I usually just hand tighten these things. That's usually been good enough for me. I've never had one fall out. So we have taped the terminals from the inverter, put the negative terminal or cable through to the battery, keep it out of the way just in case it flops over. It won't actually short out. As you can see here, I tucked it inside there, nice and neat. Now we're going to insert the positive cable. This is for testing purposes only. You want to fuse it. I'll probably say that a couple more times because I don't want anybody to actually directly wire anything to your battery, because that is very dangerous. So there's enough length here to do the twisty thing I've got going on here to be all nice and neat and beautiful. And then when I come in here, I'm just gonna directly connect it for testing purposes only. I'm gonna remove this from here at the end of the test. That way no electrical fires will happen until I'm able to fuse this. Very similar to the way it is fused here. So you want to make sure that you have a fuse within about 6 to 8 inches of your battery, so you don't have like a 12-foot length of cable burning up. Now that we've installed the negative cable, we are going to install the ground, which is effectively just a negative cable, but we want this here for anything that might come into contact with the chassis and or cause a short. It'll have somewhere to go, which would be to the ground of the truck. So because of the length of the cable, I decided to go underneath the inverter. If I could grab it, that would be awesome. And have the negative cable, sorry, the ground cable insert here. And then I'm gonna clean off the paint, and that way I'll have a nice clean connection. So one of the things we did have to do was drill out the terminal. So we're gonna slip this onto there. Later on, we're gonna cut this again and put a fuse in that place. But again, we're only just having it for testing purposes. So I do not recommend to be doing it this way unless you're gonna install a fuse 6 to 8 inches from the battery terminal. And that is what a crimped terminal looks like. Sometimes you want to put a heat shrink on it, so slide it over. If you have the oversized stuff that shrinks really good, you can just go right on top of that, and or use electrical tape, which is what we're going to be doing. Wrap that around there. So we currently have everything installed. Again, need a fuse. Ground, we have the negative going to the negative terminal, and it's not going across the battery, so it can't arc or catch fire or short out. So they're separate lines going separate areas. We're going to turn on the inverter, and we have 12.8 volts. So that's pretty awesome. Now to plug something in. As I said previously, this is a 12 amp grinder. This is an 8 amp inverter. We're going to plug it in and see what happens. So the inverter locked it out. Let's see what she says. Error 10, so it's overloaded. So we'll just unplug this. Did it pop the breaker? Nope. So we'll just turn this off, turn it back on, and we'll try something that will work. So we're gonna try a battery charger. That's probably what's gonna be in this thing for the most part. Everything else is just too daggone powerful. And this is the kind of inverter that we have all over the place. So we plug that in. We get a light up. Nope, no light up. I have missed it, who knows. Still saying, yep. So let's go over here and immediate power. The charger is not saying anything wrong. It's saying it's charging, and she's now saying 12.7. That's not bad. We know it works. Alrighty guys, I would call this a win. I'm going to remove that and then put this all back together, and that'll be the ending of the video. So for removal of the battery terminal to the inverter, when it loses power or say the fuse blows, that's the sign you're going to hear. I'm going to tape that up, put that nut back on, put the seat back into place, and we're done. So guys, the inverter is now installed, the tools are put away. All the tools that I usually carry are all stuffed right beside me. They don't really affect the inverter. I am going to build a box to kind of house all this stuff nice and neatly. I still do my paper towel hack, which is basically like Kleenex. Similar to that, you just pull one out as you need it. The other guy does this, and as you can see, there's a stain there from whatever water-like substance from the sleet and rain and frozen ice from snow and winter and stuff like that. But cramped quarters. I have another idea to do with this stuff, to put it into the back to kind of give up some space here. That all being said, guys, please put a fuse about 6 inches away from your battery. Told you I'd say this a bunch of times. This is the last time. And you'll be safe, secure, and protected. The inverter does work. You saw it tested. This is mainly for just charging batteries when you're on a job site away from home and you forgot to charge your batteries over the weekend because you did some sort of fixer-upper DIY project. So this is a fixer-upper DIY project to prevent the lack of batteries and power when you need it most. Anyways, that all being said, I'm gonna head off here, guys. You all be safe, have fun. And if you like what I do here, please like, share, and subscribe. Have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below, and I'll catch you later. Peace! Trans Am. Woo! Yeah! Oh, she's gorgeous. And I got this.